You're talking about a case that's over 40 years old. Where would you start?
Well, where else? The library.
The library?
Can I go with him, Uncle Tom? Can I?
Well, if Whit doesn't mind.
Oh, no, not at all. Come on, Jamie. Jamie, I can think of few things I enjoy more than coming to the library.
Really? How come?
Because it has everything I like. Lots of books about all kinds of interesting things. Stories, magazines, information. Oh, I could spend weeks just sitting around the library reading.
Guess that's why you have so many books back at the store, huh?
Oh, probably so. Do you have a library card?
No.
You should get one. Everybody should have a library card.
What is this thing here?
Well, it's a microfilm viewer. You see, the library took little pictures of every edition of the Odyssey Times newspaper, and they put those pictures on microfilm. Now, I want to look at all the articles about the Odyssey bank robbery written back in 1946. Now, let's take a look and see what they say. There we are. Odyssey Bank was robbed in the middle of the night on June 2nd, 1946. It is estimated that $25,000 was stolen by one, possibly two thieves, according to bank manager Percival Fenwick. You know, I remember reading in the paper a couple of years ago that Mr. Fenwick retired from the bank and lives up on Chatwick Hill.
Chatwick Hill?
Well, I forgot. You're just visiting. Yeah, you see, Chatwick Hill is a very old, well-to-do part of town. Let's see what else the article says here. New police recruit Ralph Howards was...
Inspector Howards!
He was doing his rounds and was apparently knocked unconscious by the men when they were coming out with the money. He couldn't confirm the number of bank robbers or what they looked like. And the mayor is shocked, and, well, the rest of it doesn't help us any at all. Well, that's interesting. The inspector didn't mention any of that this morning.
So what do we do now?
Well, I think we should go see Mr. Fenwick. Maybe he knows a few things they didn't mention in the article.
Wow, Mr. Fenwick must be rich. Look at this mansion.
Well, I think it was handed down to him by his parents.
It doesn't look like he takes very good care of it. It almost looks deserted.
Well, let's hope it's not.
It's kind of spooky, isn't it? I mean, it looks like one of those haunted houses in the movies.
Now, don't scare yourself now, Jamie. It's just a house, you know. Well, I guess he's not home.
But somebody is.
Oh, the wind must have blown the door open. Hello? Mr. Fenwick? Mr. Fenwick? Anybody home?
What was that? Sounded like someone got hurt.
Well, he's an old man. He might need help. Now, you wait here.
Alone? No way. I'm coming in with you.
Well. Hello? Mr. Fenwick? Mr. Fenwick? It's John Avery Whittaker from town. Hello? Are you all right? Hello?
Mr. Whittaker, look!
Interesting. Mr. Fenwick must be a collector.
What are they? They look like they're from Africa or something.
Well, you're probably right. Tribal masks, statues, ancient warrior weapons, blowpipes, darts.
Don't take another step or I'll call the police. Now, what are you two doing in my house?
The door opened when we knocked on it. I heard you cry out. Thought you might be in trouble.
Stubbed my toe on a door jamb.
Are you all right?
Hazard of growing old. Now, what are you doing here? What do you want?
I just wanted to talk to you.
Sure you do. And why would anybody want to talk to me? Nobody ever does. Maybe you're after my collection,
Oh,
Huh?
not at all. No. Though it's very fascinating. Say, have you always been collecting souvenirs from Africa?
Every chance I get. I've liked African tribal customs and relics ever since I was a child. But enough of that. What do you want? I don't take kindly to strangers in my house.
I want to talk to you about the Odyssey Bank robbery back in 1946. You were the bank manager and...
You don't think I know that? I was manager of that bank for 35 years until they forced me to retire.
I thought you could tell me a little about what happened then.
Tell you? Tell you what? They broke in the middle of the night and took $25,000 of my bank's money.
Do you have any idea how many robbers there might have been?
No.
Oh, do you know how they broke in?
They got in through a back window. They cut the alarm system wires and crawled through. Alarm systems back then weren't as good as they are now, you know. But I don't want to talk about it anymore. Nearly lost my job over that robbery.
Really? Why?
Because president of the bank thought I was careless. Said that I let it slip where the alarm box was. Was supposed to be a secret, you know.
It was?
Of course. The only people who were supposed to know where that alarm box was hidden was me, the bank president, and the police. Personally, I think it was an inside job.
What do you mean, inside job?
I think somebody on the police force tipped the robbers off. Maybe for a share of the money. But I'm not saying anymore, and you two are getting out of my house. Now, get out! Go! Go!
Oh, we're going. Well, thank you for your help.
Bye, Mr. Fenwick.
Bye.
Man, all that African junk, I think he's weird.
He's not weird, Jamie. Probably lonely. Well, you know, I'd like to come back and visit him sometime.
Uh-oh.
What's wrong?
You got a parking ticket on your windshield.
I did. But this isn't a no parking area. Hey, let me take a look. Wow, a note of some kind. It's typed.
What's it say?
Leave well enough alone.
Wow.
Will Whit and Jamie solve this great mystery? We'll find out when we return to today's adventure in Odyssey, right after this. And now, back to today's adventure in Odyssey.
So, you went to see old Fenwick, huh?
Yes, we did, Inspector.
I'm sure he gave you a nice welcome. Does he still have all those African relics there?
Oh, you've seen them?
Not me. Fenwick thought his house was being burglarized and called us. The officer who went up saw it all. Said it gave him the creeps. Yeah, Fenwick's a strange old bird. He never liked me. I always got the feeling he blamed me for that bank robbery.
Was there any reason to blame you?
Of course not. What I mean is, well, you went to the library and saw the articles about the robbery, so I assume you know that I was there.
Oh, but they knocked you out.
Yes. It's been an embarrassment to me ever since it happened. There I was, a young rookie, hoping to prove myself to the other policemen, and when the big chance came along, I was knocked unconscious. And what's worse, I don't know how it happened.
What do you mean?
I was walking on the side of the bank when the bank robber or robbers came out. And as soon as I saw him, I blanked out.
You weren't hit?
No. It was as if I fainted. But I know I didn't. Now, do you understand my embarrassment?
And nothing like that's happened to you since?
No. It's no wonder Fenwick blames me for the robbery. I looked like a fool.
Fenwick thinks there's more to it than that.
He does.
He seemed to think that it was an inside job. Somebody helped the robbers get into the bank by telling them where the alarm was.
What? Both the bank and the police commission cleared me on that. Now, why does he keep bringing it up?
Well, now's the perfect time to prove it once and for all. I think if we keep checking, we'll come up with...
Look, Mr. Whitaker, I don't want to be rude, but I think you should forget about the whole thing. It's ancient history now. Very painful history for me, anyway. I'm going to retire from the force in a couple of weeks, and I just as soon live my days out peacefully.
What about justice, Inspector Howards? They're saying that crime does pay if we wait long enough.
No, but sometimes you just have to learn to leave well enough alone, that's all. Now, you go back to tending your ice cream and leave the detective work to professionals, all right?
But...
Good day, Mr. Whitaker.
Goodbye, Inspector. Night, Tom. Night, Jamie. Thanks. Connie, are you here?
Whit, am I glad you're back?
Busy day, huh? Well, I'm sorry I deserted you, but this investigation's taking longer than I thought.
Forget about that. Something really strange happened today.
I know. Tell me what happened to you, and I'll tell you what happened to me.
It was just like one of those mystery books. This really strange woman came in this afternoon.
Strange?
Well, she had a really weird look on her face, and she was kind of old, and in a real low voice, she started asking me questions about that room you found downstairs and the skeleton, and then she gave me this envelope and said to give it to you.
Oh, she didn't say who she was?
No.
Well, then, let's see about this envelope. It's a headline from the Odyssey Times, dated June 7th, 1946.
What does it say?
Well, it says, police in car chase.
That's all?
That's all. You know, this is the second time today I've been given a strange message. There was one on my windshield when I came out of Mr. Fenwick's house.
Mr. Fenwick?
Yeah, I used to be manager of the Odyssey Bank. It was a typed note that said to leave well enough alone.
Leave well enough alone?
Yes, I've been wondering why. Funny, those were the exact same words Inspector Howard used when I saw him today. And he also mentioned that I went to the library and looked at some articles. Well, how did he know that? I didn't tell him. I wonder if he was following me.
Following you? Why would he do that?
Maybe because he doesn't want me to investigate the Odyssey Bank robbery. But why? He said he was embarrassed. But it could be more than that, you know what? It's possible he's trying to hide something.
Like what?
Well, Mr. Fenwick might be right. The robbery was an inside job, and the inspector was in on it with Spencer. Maybe the inspector was the missing partner.
But wouldn't that mean...
Yes, it could mean that he was the one who shot Spencer in the basement.
What was that?
Sounds like it came from downstairs. You sure everyone has left?
I closed at 9 o'clock as usual. The shop was empty.
I better have a look.
Maybe we should call the police.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go down and check it out.
But I'm scared.
Oh, I'm sure it's nothing. I'll be back in a minute. Is there anyone down here? The shop is closed. Hello? Oh, the window on the door is broken.
Whitaker.
Oh, hello? Who is that? Oh, the lights are gone out. Well, what do you want?
Stay out of my way.
Whit, are you all right? The police are on their way. Whit? Whit!
Let's join Mr. Whitaker as he investigates the case of the secret room.
So, Mr. Whitaker, you got knocked on the head by a burglar.
Well, actually, I didn't get knocked on the head. I got pushed into some boxes and hit my head when I fell.
I see. Well, it looks as if the officer got all the information from you last night. We'll do the best we can to catch the burglar, but since nothing was stolen, it'll be difficult.
I realize that, Inspector, but that's not why I'm here.
It isn't?
No. Don't you see? Whoever was in my basement last night didn't come to steal anything from me. I think they did that to throw me off the track. Someone was trying to get to the secret room.
A curiosity seeker?
No, I think it was someone connected with Spencer Barfield and the Odyssey Bank robbery.
Oh, please don't start on that again. I told you yesterday that it's a closed case.
But it can't be a closed case as long as there are unanswered questions. Nobody holds you or the Odyssey police in higher regard than I do, Inspector, but I can't drop this. You wouldn't either if you simply considered the facts. A skeleton was found in a hidden room in my basement. Had a bullet hole in it. You say it was a drifter named Spencer Barfield who worked in my building in 1946 and suddenly disappeared when the Odyssey Bank was robbed. A robbery you witnessed yourself.
I explained all of that to you yesterday, Mr. Whitaker. I was knocked unconscious before I could see anything.
Yes, you were knocked unconscious without anyone touching you.
I don't know how it happened. Everyone thinks I fainted. It doesn't matter anymore.
It does matter. Now, you assume that Spencer robbed the bank with a mysterious partner, then the partner decided to double-cross Spencer, shot him in the basement, and took off with the money.
Right. All the evidence points to it. It makes sense, doesn't it?
But what has become of the partner?
Look, it was 40 years ago. The money's gone. The partner's probably died of old age. Why can't you leave well enough alone?
Well, that's a good question, and a familiar one. Why are you so against me trying to figure out this case?
As a police detective, I'm against any amateur investigating murders and robberies. It always leads to trouble.
Well, normally I'd say you're right. No one should ever take the law into his own hands. Well, I'll certainly bow out if you look into it yourself.
Oh, I told you.
It's a closed case. Yes, you've said that time and time again. Then you leave me no choice but to exercise my right as a citizen and pursue this case until justice is done. Okay, let's go, Jamie.
What happened? Did he break down and confess?
No, I didn't think he would, especially since I'm not sure he's the one who did it. Did you go by the library?
Yes, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, let's sit down on this bench here and tell me what happened, in detail.
Well, I took the headline from the Odyssey Times that the mysterious lady gave you yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Sure enough, it was in the microfilm file. It said, "Police in car chase," just like the clipping.
Good.
Also, it was dated June 7th, 1946.
5 days after the bank robbery. What did the article say?
Wait, let me get my notes.
Okay.
It said that the police pulled a man over by the name of Alfred Myers.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a stop sign. No big deal, right?
I suppose.
But guess what policeman pulled Myers over?
Well, I give up.
Police rookie Ralph Howards.
Inspector Howard's again. Boy, he sure gets around.
Yeah, but wait until you hear the rest. Rookie Ralph Howards was getting out of his police car when Alfred Myers suddenly took off. Howards radioed for help and then went after him.
You know, it's hard to imagine all this happening in Odyssey. What happened next?
Howards chased Myers on a back road towards Trickle Lake until Myers lost control of his car and ran into a telephone pole. They took him to the hospital, but he didn't make it. It's really kind of sad.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that's not the end. They found something in Alfred Myers' car.
What?
A .38 caliber pistol. Remember, the bullet found in the skeleton was...
A .38 caliber. Is it possible that Myers was the one who shot Spencer Barfield?
It is more than possible, Mr. Whitaker.
Who are you?
I'm sorry to be eavesdropping.
You are the mysterious woman who gave Connie the envelope yesterday.
I'm one and the same.
But please sit down, huh? Who are you, and what does all this mean?
I'm a stranger to you, Mr. Whitaker, and yet I believe you're the key to clearing my brother's name.
Your brother?
Spencer Barfield.
Spencer Barfield was your brother? But the police said he didn't have any family.
They were wrong. I'm the only real family he ever had. We were orphans, you understand.
I see.
My brother, when he was discharged from the Army after the Second World War, he decided that life was too short to settle down. So he kind of drifted. He wrote to me so I'd know he was safe and happy. Then the letters stopped, and then the newspapers said he robbed the bank and took off with the money. I refused to believe them. My brother wasn't that kind of man. He's good and kind. I didn't know where he was or what became of him. Until I saw the news yesterday about what you found in your basement. For over 40 very long years, I've wondered and hoped. Now I know.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Mrs.
Miss Barfield.
You gave me that headline to get me to the article. Why? What is the connection between your brother and this Alfred Myers?
In one of my brother's last letters to me, he wrote about his job as janitor of the building you now own.
Yeah, well, back then it was a community center for local families.
Yes, my brother wrote that in one of his letters. He also wrote of a peculiar nervous man who frequently came there. My brother didn't trust him and thought he was up to something. He wrote that the man's name was Alfred Myers. They even talked to each other once or twice. Myers was interested in the building. My brother even found Myers wandering in the basement. Back then, no one was allowed down there. Myers claimed he had gotten lost.
Let me get this straight. Your brother caught Myers looking around in the basement?
Yes,
Why?
my brother didn't know. But there's one very important thing I haven't told you.
What?
My brother wrote that he saw Alfred Myers talking to Percival Fenwick. He couldn't understand why a bank manager would talk to someone like Myers. I've been wondering the same thing myself. I'd hoped you would know the answer, Mr. Whitaker.
I don't know, but I suppose Mr. Fenwick might.
I almost wish he wasn't at home. All that African junk he keeps in his house gives me the creeps, especially those masks.
Well, why don't you wait in the car? This won't take long.
Are you kidding? I don't want to miss anything.
Well, okay.
Who is it? What do you want?
It's John Whitaker, Mr. Fenwick. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Go away. I don't want to talk to you.
But it's about Alfred Myers.
What makes you think I should know anybody by that name?
You were seen with him.
When? Who saw me?
Is it true?
Might be. You better come in. You're, taking quite a personal interest in this, aren't you, Mr. Whitaker?
Yes, I am. Now, about this Myers fellow. You knew him.
Not really. We had a business arrangement, that's all.
Oh?
Yes. I hired him as a private investigator after the bank was robbed.
Why?
Because there were people who thought I had something to do with the robbery, and I wanted to prove them wrong.
How? What did you think a private investigator could do that the police wouldn't?
Follow another policeman.
What do you mean?
Follow another policeman. I told you before, I believe the robbery was an inside job. Well, I happen to believe that Inspector Howards was the one who helped the bank robbers. And I hired Myers as a private investigator to follow Howards to get evidence against him.
Inspector Howards was the policeman who chased Myers.
That's right, little girl.
But that was after Myers tried to escape.
That's what Howards said. Well, I happen to believe that Myers had just found some evidence to prove that Howards was in on the bank robbery.
And that's why Inspector Howards chased Myers.
That's what I think. She's a smart one, Whitaker. After all these years, I'm glad the truth is finally getting out.
Wow.
Now,